The Dark Knight Returns follows Bruce Wayne, aged 55, emerging from a decade-long retirement triggered by rising violence in Gotham City. Bruce begins by confronting a violent street gang led by the mutant leader, a savage teen who orders crimes and nearly defeats the aged hero in their first fight. With help from a resourceful 13-year-old schoolgirl and scout named Carrie Kelly, whose gymnastic skills, slingshot, firecrackers, and green-tinted sunglasses mark her transformation into Robin, Bruce trains a youth group known as the Sons of Batman to use non-lethal tactics. Then, Two-Face, formerly Harvey Dent and now physically restored but still mentally fractured, resumes criminal acts. Batman captures him, exposing that psychological wounds run deeper than physical healing. Following this, the Joker, who had been in a near catatonic state, escapes after convincing Dr. Wolper of his rehabilitation. During a televised talk show, Joker unleashes chaos. He kills Dr. Wolper and audience members with venom, bombs a roller coaster, murders Boy Scouts, and orchestrates widespread terror. Batman and Carrie track him, and during a final confrontation beneath a fairground ride, the Joker stabs Batman and then provokes him. Refusing to kill, Batman walks away. The Joker snaps his own neck to frame Batman. Meanwhile, the United States, alarmed by Batman's vigilantism during a global power blackout, deploys Superman under presidential orders to stop him. Bruce prepares by donning powered armor, equipped with a sonic blaster, tactical pills, and years in development synthetic kryptonite. Oliver Queen, once a green-clad archer turned one-armed revolutionary, warns Bruce before a climactic clash. In Crime Alley, the armored Batman withstands Superman's blows and delivers the crippled Man of Steel thanks to the kryptonite arrow. Though victorious, Bruce feigns a fatal heart attack to evade authorities. At Bruce's public funeral, Superman detects a heartbeat inside the coffin and shares a knowing wink with Carrie before leaving. Secretly alive, Bruce exits Gotham with Carrie, Oliver, and the Sons of Batman. Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce's aged caretaker, triggers demolished self-destruction devices in Wayne Manor and the Batcave, suffers a stroke, and dies. Bruce's financial assets are drained, his identity revealed but unprovable, and Carrie, disguised as a distant cousin, claims his body. In the final scene, Bruce leads his assembled team into hidden tunnels beneath Gotham, ready to wage a new campaign against systemic corruption. In the night Gwen Stacy died, Peter Parker leads both a secret life as Spider-Man and a public life as a young man recently returned from caring for his friend Harry Osborn after a drug overdose. Harry's father, Norman Osborn, confronts Peter at Harry's bedside and browbeats him for the crisis. Norman shifts back into his Green Goblin persona upon recalling Spider-Man's identity. He uses a pumpkin bomb and a satchel to abduct Gwen Stacy, Peter's supportive girlfriend who is visiting Harry. Norman lures Spider-Man to a bridge. Atop the bridge, Norman taunts Spider-Man and knocks Gwen off the structure. Peter shoots a web line at Gwen's legs to save her, but the sudden stop inflicts a fatal neck injury. When Peter pulls her up, he realizes she is dead. Norman departs, claiming she died before the webbing caught her. In the subsequent issue, Peter storms a warehouse and beats Norman until he cannot kill him. Norman's glider then impales himself accidentally during the fight, resulting in his death. Peter returns home emotionally drained and encounters Mary Jane Watson, a vivacious friend whose grief forms a new bond with him. This arc became a major shift in comic storytelling by ending with Gwen's death and Norman's demise. It marked Peter's transition from idealism to trauma-driven vigilance. A later note explained that Gwen's neck snapped from whiplash caused by the web line, confirming Peter's unintended role in her death. The deaths of Gwen and the Green Goblin had long-term consequences. It redefined Spider-Man's emotional core, deepened his relationship with Mary Jane, and solidified Norman's Green Goblin as his primary nemesis. In the Dark Phoenix saga, Jean Grey, a telepathic telekinetic, returns from a mission in space and emerges with vastly amplified mental and physical abilities after exposure to solar radiation. She adopts the identity Phoenix and demonstrates cosmic power by repairing the M'Kraan crystal. The Hellfire Club recruits Mastermind, who uses illusions to convince Jean she is Lady Grey, their decadent Black Queen. The Inner Circle's manipulations lead Jean to adopt that persona and betray the X-Men. Jean embraces the Lady Grey illusions and experiences human emotion extremes. Shaw captures much of the X-Men via the Hellfire Club scheme. Cyclops confronts Mastermind psychically. When Mastermind disrupts Cyclops' mental image, Jean's mental barriers shatter, and she ascends into Dark Phoenix. As Dark Phoenix, Jean destroys Mastermind's mind. The X-Men fight to rescue her from the club's influence. Jean abandons Earth and flies to space as the Dark Phoenix. The Dark Phoenix consumes a star, obliterating a populated solar system and killing billions. Lilandra learns of this and orders execution of Phoenix to save the universe. The alien Shi'ar summon their Imperial Guard to judge Jean's actions. The X-Men return to Earth and confront Phoenix. She battles and defeats them easily before departing into space in her cosmic form. Jean returns and regrets destruction. The X-Men attempt to subdue her peacefully. Wolverine nearly strikes her down with claws, but Cyclops tries to restrain her with love. Phoenix's internal conflict grows. Lilandra initiates Plan Omega, which entails the destruction of Earth's solar system if Phoenix cannot be stopped. Professor X orders the X-Men to fight Phoenix on the blue area of the moon to prevent genocide. Cyclops is injured, and Jean again transforms into into Phoenix. Realizing the extent of her crimes and unable to be contained, she activates an ancient Kree weapon inside ruins and disintegrates herself. Jean delivers farewell to Cyclops. Her death prevents universal destruction. This arc chronicles corruption, immense power, cosmic atrocity, moral judgment, and sacrificial resolution. The All-Star Superman arc presents a self-contained story in which Superman becomes fated to die after excessive solar radiation exposure during a rescue mission. Superman begins a series of final missions known as the 12 Labors of Superman. These tasks include restoring the bottled city of Kandor, curing global illnesses, saving Earth from the Star Eater Solaris, and creating a duplicate reality called Earth Q. Each mission is designed to strengthen Earth before his death. Superman's relationships are deeply explored. He shares a closer bond with Lois Lane, revealing his identity and inviting her into his fortress of solitude. His rivalry with Lex Luthor intensifies when Luthor accelerates Superman's condition by misusing solar technology. Superman also encounters Bizarro in a dimensional mirror world and confronts mythic figures such as Hercules and Samson in cosmic contests. The climax sees Superman merge with the sun to cleanse it of a corruptive force, refusing to dominate Earth even as he accepts his end. In his final act, he initiates a legacy plan by combining his genetics with Lois's to create a new Superman lineage, the Superman Squad, tasked with defending Earth in perpetuity. This storyline highlights Superman completing monumental tasks tied to his mythos, deepening his central relationships, embracing mortality with dignity, and planning for the future security of Earth. The Demon in a Bottle arc opens with Tony Stark riding a plane when a tank crashes through the fuselage. He secretly suits up in the armor stored in his briefcase, saves the passengers by ocean landing, and learns that Namor, a king defending an aging farmer on an island that Roxxon Oil Corporation secretly occupies to extract vibranium, was responsible for tossing the tank, leading to a temporary alliance and the island's destruction to erase evidence. While flying home in the suit, Tony, now facing armor malfunctions, crashes into his building. He tests his systems with no error, and later goes to Atlantic City with Bethany Cabe, a security expert and romantic interest, where Blizzard, Melter, and Whiplash stage a casino raid and hint that Hammer wants Iron Man alive. Tony, under escalating pressure, agrees to attend a United Nations ceremony as Iron Man on behalf of his company, Stark International. His armor is remotely forced to fire on and kill the Carnelian ambassador, implicating him in murder. The police allow him to surrender the suit under investigation while his drinking visibly intensifies. He meets the Avengers, who ask him to temporarily step down as chairman. Tony trains under Captain America and recruits Scott Lang to infiltrate Whiplash's cell in prison to trace the name Hammer back to its source. Tony travels with James Rhodes, a former Air Force pilot and longtime friend who flies as his personal test pilot, to Monaco after Lang's report. They are attacked, Rhodes escapes to the authorities, and Tony is captured aboard a floating villa run by Justin Hammer, a rival British industrialist who covertly armed supervillains and installed a hypersonic override in Iron Man's armor to discredit the hero and ruin Stark International. Rhodes helps the police mount a rescue as Iron Man reclaims a briefcase full of spare armor, battles and defeats Hammer's henchmen, including Blizzard, Melter, and Whiplash, causes the floating villa to capsize, forcing Hammer to flee while recovering buried parts of the island in sinking order. Tony, now addicted and disoriented, reviews photographs of his drunken behavior in news coverage. He angrily lashes out at Edwin Jarvis, a decades-long personal butler and aide employed at Stark International and Avengers Mansion, who promptly resigns. Bethany Cabe, a veteran security consultant with a tragic past involving her late husband's death by drug overdose, visits and describes her refusal to endure denial again. She urges Tony, now facing inner demons, to allow friends to help resist the bottle, and warns that isolation will kill him if unchecked. After soul-searching, Tony agrees to cease drinking, apologizes to Jarvis, who reveals he sold 2 shares in Stark International to fund a loan for his mother, and thus prevented S.H.I.E.L.D., a covert government agency seeking a controlling interest in the firm, from buying them. The arc concludes with Tony determined to reclaim the stock, retain control of his company, and maintain his identity on his own terms. The Winter Soldier arc begins when Rogers is briefed by the espionage agency S.H.I.E.L.D. on the Winter Soldier, an enduring assassin active across decades who appears not to age. S.H.I.E.L.D. believes the soldier may be Bucky Barnes, Rogers' sidekick thought dead in World War II. Fury suspects that Alexander Lukin, a Russian oligarch and former intelligence officer, holds a powerful reality-warping artifact called the Cosmic Cube and controls the soldier. Rogers investigates Lukin's base in a remote mountain compound. There he confronts the Winter Soldier for the first time. During combat, Rogers seizes the cosmic cube and uses it to counter the soldier's brainwashing. The soldier is revealed to be Bucky Barnes, Rogers' former partner who survived apparent death and was reprogrammed by Soviet handlers using cybernetic enhancements. After regaining memory, Bucky feels guilt and shatters the cube. Rogers decides to spare Bucky, attempting rehabilitation instead of retribution. Their confrontation ends without clear resolution as Bucky flees, haunted by remorse and seeking isolation. Epilogue reveals that Rogers' longtime nemesis, the Red Skull, remains alive by transferring consciousness into Lucan's mind using the Cosmic Cube device. Throughout the arc, Falcon appears, an aerial partner told to assist Rogers in locating the soldier and disrupting Lucan's operations. Sharon Carter, an intelligence agent with personal stakes in the soldier's crimes, confronts past trauma tied to one of his acts and becomes pivotal in the joint effort to free him. This arc tracks Rogers from encountering a mysterious assassin to uncovering the truth about his own ally, preventing misuse of the Cosmic Cube, and beginning a fragile hero-sidekick reconciliation. Flashpoint is a DC Comics event written by Jeff Johns, with art by Andy Kubert, published as a 5-issue series from May to August 2011. The story centers on Barry Allen, the Flash, who wakes up in an alternate timeline, where the world is drastically different. In this reality, Barry has no powers, his mother is alive, and the Justice League never formed. The world is on the brink of collapse due to a war between Wonder Woman's Amazons and Aquaman's Atlanteans, which has devastated entire continents and threatens global annihilation. Barry must regain his powers and restore the timeline, but doing so comes with significant consequences. The event begins with Barry discovering that his actions in the past, specifically his attempt to save his mother from being murdered, have created this fractured reality. Key differences include Bruce Wayne being killed as a child, leading his father, Thomas Wayne, to become a ruthless version of Batman, and Superman being held captive by the government since childhood, never becoming the hero he was meant to be. Barry teams up with Thomas Wayne's Batman and a group of resistance fighters, including Cyborg, to stop the war and find a way to fix the timeline. The story explores themes of loss, responsibility, and the unintended consequences of altering history. A pivotal moment occurs when Barry regains his powers and attempts to recreate the accident that originally gave him his speed. With the help of Thomas Wayne's Batman, he succeeds, but the process is fraught with danger. The climax involves Barry confronting Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, who reveals that he manipulated events to create this timeline as a way to punish Barry. The story concludes with Barry using his restored powers to reset the timeline, but not before Thomas Wayne gives him a letter to deliver to Bruce in the restored reality, adding an emotional layer to the resolution. Flashpoint has far-reaching implications for the DC universe, as the restoration of the timeline leads to the creation of the New 52, a company-wide reboot that reimagined DC's characters and continuity. The event is notable for its exploration of alternate realities and its impact on the broader DC mythos. By blending personal stakes with large-scale consequences, Flashpoint serves as a pivotal moment in DC Comics, reshaping its universe and setting the stage for new storytelling opportunities. The event remains a defining chapter in the Flash's history and a testament to the enduring appeal of time travel narratives in superhero comics. The Planet Hulk storyline begins when Hulk loses control during a gamma bomb incident in Las Vegas. The Illuminati, a secret cabal of Earth's heroes, deem Hulk too dangerous and trick him into space aboard a shuttle, while psychiatrist Doc Samson helps manipulate him. Namor Mackenzie refuses and diverges. The shuttle veers through a wormhole, sending Hulk off course. Hulk crash lands on the harsh planet Sakaar. He is enslaved and fitted with an obedience disc. Forced into gladiatorial combat under the rule of the Red King, Angmo Asan, he becomes a public sensation. Hulk forms an unbreakable pact with fellow gladiators. They share stories and trauma. In the arena, the Red King deploys the Silver Surfer, Norrin Radd, to fight Hulk. Hulk breaks the Surfer's obedience disc, and with unwilling aid, Surfer frees all gladiators' discs. The Warbound refuse to execute Elo on command, pledging each other's lives instead. The group flees into Sakaar's hinterlands, gathering followers who believe Hulk is the legendary Sakaarson, despite his own denial. Kyera, the Old Strong, Sakaar's elite lieutenant and bearer of the planet's old power, is dispatched by the Red King to assassinate Hulk. During their duel, a fleet of bioengineered aliens named Spikes arrives. Kyera realizes the Red King unleashed the Spikes to judge his subjects. She abandons her duty and joins the rebellion. Hulk leads an assault on Crown City. He overcomes the Red King in personal combat, ascends as monarch, and marries Kyera. Peace follows his coronation, and she reveals she is pregnant with his child. Meanwhile, the shuttle's wreckage is converted into a memorial. Its self-destruct sequence activates, obliterating Crown City and killing Kyera. Hulk's grief and fury become a catalyst. Accompanied by the surviving Warbound, Hulk departs Sakaar aboard the repaired shuttle to return to Earth in search of justice and vengeance. His decision sets the stage for the World War Hulk crossover. In the Galactus trilogy, Uatu the Watcher appears. Uatu is a cosmic entity who silently observes and had sworn not to interfere but breaks that vow to warn Reed Richards. Reed Richards is a brilliant scientist leading the team. He explains that the Silver Surfer, a metallic-skinned cosmic scout riding a surfboard, is searching for a planet for Galactus. Galactus is a massive ancient being who consumes worlds to survive. While the Surfer scouts, Reed alone does experiments in his laboratory. The Surfer locates Earth, signals Galactus, and Reed's teammate Ben Grimm collides with the Surfer, knocking him off the Baxter Building rooftop. After that, Galactus's world ship Ta-2 appears over Manhattan, and Galactus emerges to announce he will drain Earth's elemental life. The Watcher pleads with Galactus to spare humanity. He fails. Johnny Storm, called the Human Torch, and Grimm attempt to attack but cannot harm Galactus. The Watcher reveals the existence of the Ultimate Nullifier, a cosmic weapon capable of destroying Galactus. Alicia Masters, Ben's blind sculptor girlfriend, speaks with the Surfer who lies unconscious in her apartment. Alicia persuades the Surfer to betray his master. Uatu boosts Johnny's powers, so Johnny can travel to Galactus's homeworld to retrieve the Nullifier from Ta-2. Meanwhile, the team damages Galactus's machinery to delay him. The Surfer attacks Galactus, allowing Johnny to return with the Ultimate Nullifier. Reed threatens to use the device, forcing Galactus to agree to leave Earth in exchange for its return. Galactus departs, but he removes the Surfer's ability to travel through space-time, stranding him on Earth. Earth returns to normal, with most press dismissing the event as a hoax. This arc shifts the scale of threats from Earthbound villains to cosmic forces, and changes how the Fantastic Four are perceived in their universe. Sinestro Corps War, 2007 to 2008, was a pivotal crossover event in DC Comics' Green Lantern series. It centered on the conflict between the Green Lantern Corps, who harness the power of will, and the Sinestro Corps, wielders of yellow power rings fueled by fear. The conflict ignited when Sinestro, a former Green Lantern known for his authoritarian approach, established the Sinestro Corps on Quard in the antimatter universe. He recruited individuals capable of instilling great fear, arming them with yellow power rings that granted abilities akin to the Green Lantern's green rings, but powered by fear instead of will. Key members of the Sinestro Corps included Parallax, the embodiment of fear, and the resurrected Anti-Monitor, a being of immense destructive power. The Corps launched an assault on the Green Lanterns, leading to significant battles across the universe and on Earth. During these confrontations, Kyle Rayner, a Green Lantern, was captured and possessed by Parallax, amplifying the threat to the Green Lantern Corps. In response, the Guardians of the Universe, leaders of the Green Lantern Corps, amended their laws to authorize lethal force against the Sinestro Corps. This escalation led to intense battles, including a significant struggle in New York City. The conflict concluded with the defeat of the Sinestro Corps, the imprisonment of Sinestro, and the revelation of a prophecy concerning the Blackest Night, which foretold the rise of additional Corps based on different emotions, setting the stage for future cosmic events in the DC Universe. In the Born Again storyline, Karen Page is introduced as the former secretary of the Nelson and Murdoch Law Office in New York City and ex-girlfriend of Matt Murdock. Page leaves the city seeking an acting career but becomes addicted to heroin and appears in adult films in Mexico. She sells the information that Murdoch is Daredevil in exchange for heroin. Wilson Fisk is introduced as a powerful crime lord who receives the identity information. Fisk uses his influence to destroy every part of Murdoch's life over the next 6 months. Fisk arranges for the IRS to freeze Murdoch's bank accounts, causes foreclosure on his apartment, and engineers false legal accusations through corrupt officials. During this time, Murdoch's girlfriend, Gloriana O'Brien, breaks up with him and begins dating his law partner and friend, Foggy Nelson, causing further emotional strain. Murdoch investigates and discovers that Lieutenant Nicholas Manolis is complicit in the frame-up in exchange for help with his sick child's treatment. Manolis admits his cooperation to Fisk. An exceptional legal defense by Nelson prevents a prison sentence for Murdoch, but Murdoch loses his license to practice law. Fisk retaliates by having Murdoch's home bombed. Murdoch discovers his destroyed Daredevil costume among the wreckage, confirming Fisk's involvement. Murdoch becomes homeless and psychologically strained. At his lowest point, he matures beyond regret over material loss. Murdoch finds aid from Sister Maggie, a nun who cares for him and is revealed to be his biological mother. Maggie's compassionate support becomes a turning point on the path to recovery. Meanwhile, Karen Page returns to New York, driven by guilt, seeking Murdoch and hoping to make amends. Fisk escalates his attack by employing Nuke, a psychotic super soldier and government operative, to assault Hell's Kitchen. Nuke brings heavy weaponry and causes civilian casualties. Daredevil confronts Nuke despite severe emotional fatigue. Murdoch stops an assault helicopter supporting Nuke by destroying it, an act that kills the pilot and reflects Murdoch's struggle to protect innocents under extreme pressure. The Avengers arrive to take Nuke into custody. Captain America investigates and discovers Nuke is a failing result of a government super soldier program, mirroring his own origin. The exposure of Fisk's Fisk's use of Nuke and the collapse of his schemes shatter Fisk's public reputation. Fisk avoids imprisonment for now, but is weakened. In the end, Murdoch regains a new sense of purpose, manages to rebuild his life, and finds solace in Hell's Kitchen alongside Karen Page. He no longer mourns his lost lawyer career. The Infinity Gauntlet is a major crossover event in Marvel Comics. First published in 1991, written by Jim Starlin with art by George Perez and Ron Lim, the story revolves around Thanos, a powerful cosmic warlord who seeks ultimate power by collecting the 6 Infinity Gems: time, space, mind, soul, reality, and power. These gems, when combined and wielded within the Infinity Gauntlet, grant the user near omnipotent control over all aspects of existence. Thanos' goal is to use this power to impress Death, a personified entity he is infatuated with, by erasing half of all life in the universe. The event begins with Thanos already in possession of the Gauntlet, having secretly gathered the gems off-panel. His first act is to wipe out half of all life in the universe with a snap of his fingers, causing widespread devastation and drawing the attention of Earth's heroes and cosmic entities alike. The surviving heroes, including the Avengers, Silver Surfer, and Doctor Strange, band together to confront Thanos, but they are vastly outmatched by his godlike abilities. Thanos effortlessly defeats them, showcasing the Gauntlet's power by altering reality, manipulating time, and even resurrecting his deceased loved ones to torment them. As the conflict escalates, cosmic beings such as Eternity, Galactus, and the Living Tribunal intervene, recognizing the threat Thanos poses to the multiverse. However, even these entities fall before the Gauntlet's might. Thanos ultimately transcends his physical form, merging with the universe itself. Meanwhile, his granddaughter Nebula, whom he had tortured and left for dead, seizes an opportunity to steal the Gauntlet while Thanos is distracted. She reverses his actions, restoring the universe to its previous state, but her inexperience with the Gauntlet's power creates new chaos. The heroes, now aided by Adam Warlock, a cosmic strategist with a deep understanding of the gems, devise a plan to reclaim the Gauntlet. Warlock's knowledge proves crucial, as he orchestrates a final confrontation with Nebula, who is eventually overpowered. In the end, the Gauntlet is taken by Warlock, who distributes the gems among trusted allies to prevent their misuse. The event concludes with the universe restored, but the lingering threat of the Infinity Gems remains, setting the stage for future storylines. The Infinity Gauntlet is notable for its exploration of power, morality, and the consequences of absolute control. It also serves as a pivotal moment in Marvel's cosmic narrative, influencing characters like Thanos, Warlock, and Nebula for decades. The event's impact extends beyond comics, inspiring adaptations in other media, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where the Infinity Gauntlet storyline plays a central role in films like Avengers, Infinity War 2018, and Avengers Endgame 2019. In JLA Rock of Ages, a cosmic observer named Metron, who masters perception of all time, summons the Flash, Green Lantern, and Aquaman across time to retrieve the Philosopher's Stone, an artifact embodying space-time reality and called the Whirlagog. Heroes aboard orbiting their moon base face synthetic duplicates, hard-light constructs of themselves created by Lex Luthor, a powerful genius industrialist, who leads those replicas to wreck cities on Earth. Luthor forms a new Injustice Gang, a team of villains engineered to oppose Justice League. This group includes mirror-image doppelgangers and masters wilderness of time manipulation through the Philosopher's Stone. Luthor unleashes the gang, while Metron guides the League members across dimensions into a future where the cosmic tyrant Darkseid, a new god of apocalypse, has seized the anti-life equation, conquered both Earth and New Genesis, and enforces control by constant psychic broadcast over humanity. In that dystopian timeline, Superman is reportedly dead, Batman is absent, the Flash is disconnected from his Speed Force, Green Lantern and Aquaman arrive amidst ruins to confront soldiers of Darkseid, whose parademons and apocalyptic technology dominate the planet. That future collapses as heroes secure the Philosopher's Stone, preventing permanent timeline damage. Restoration of the Whirlagog erases the dystopia and forces collapse of the gang's timeline branch. Meanwhile, the League confronts the Injustice Gang aboard their moon station. Each core member battles a dark counterpart engineered by the gang. They neutralize the threat and reclaim the Philosopher's Stone. The League restores temporal order by returning the Whirlagog to Metron, closing alternate branches. They dismantle the Injustice Gang and free Earth from Luthor's threat. Darkseid's influence is contained in time. This storyline demonstrates non-linear structure, high stakes involving cosmic-scale time manipulation, alternate dystopian outcome, and ultimate restoration by preserving the Whirlagog and defeating the gang across space-time.